Okay.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Leanne.
This is Wendy from PowerHouse Smart. She is the engine that's running it. She is the energy that drives it. And the reason that everyone is getting connected. Wendy has a great personality. And we met because she is the leader of PowerHouse Smart. And we were invited into PowerHouse Smart and had the pleasure of meeting her. And today we're in Chicago for a PowerHouse Smart event. And we're currently at the Renaissance Hotel in North Shore, Chicago. So welcome, Wendy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for Leanne for inviting me. I think this is a wonderful platform that you put together. I love it. And I hope all the people that are listening either today or in the future really get value out of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to first just dive into who you are and what you do. Just why don't you just start right there?
Sure, not a problem. So I launched the PowerHouse Companies. Actually, we're celebrating our 18th anniversary this month. Yeah, it's exciting, but it's shocking. Like 18 years goes in a heartbeat, and so such is life, right? So 18 years ago, after being a leader in a custom design build firm for also another 17 years prior, I realized that what I love doing is really what you do, Leanne, is I love helping people grow. And my expertise over those years, first I started as a real estate broker, so I understand the real estate world, especially as it relates to new construction and remodeling. But my previous life, we were a design build firm, so I really understand all the nuances of, pulling a team or a collaborative group of professionals together for the benefit of everyone, including the property and the client, to get the best experience and the most incredible product. So after I left being on the design build side, I said, I want to help other companies in any aspect of luxury design build or real estate assess where their company is, kind of discuss goals like you do so beautifully, and help them put strategies into place to take their company forward. Even though my past role at the design build firm was vice president of sales and marketing, I wasn't coming in to be marketing agency like you, because you need a team.
Yes.
And you are really good at that. I knew I needed, if I were going to help a company or one of my consulting clients, I would need to help and maybe be the team cheerleader, or I call it the brand ambassador.
Which you're really good at that.
So, but what it was really is like, you're XYZ architect and you have, solopreneur or one or two people, and you'd like to grow to 3 or 4 people, or you'd like to grow a lot bigger and go into multi-states. We'd sit down and develop that. So that was the birth of how can I help other people one-on-one by companies. So it was consulting. And then what was happening was those companies were growing, and I, of course, knew how to grow a team. So I started doing all their recruiting and manpower planning and making sure they had an onboarding program and a training platform. So I started getting into the recruiting side, and I realized consulting can take a long time. So anyone here who's listening who hires Leanne's team or any marketing agency to help grow your business, or even to just improve your business if you like where you are at your volume, but you just want to be better, it doesn't happen overnight.
It's true.
So I was realizing if I just do the recruiting side, I can help people by knowing, let's sit down and do an interview or a strategy discussion. Let's find out what you need to add talent to your team or to enhance your team, and then help handpick those right talents and put them in those right seats and let the company grow from there. And now I could quickly, and not only that, was I helping that company, helping those people that are looking for a career that they love, not going to work every day, but loving your job was like a dream come true. So that's the PowerHouse consulting and recruiting side of the business. And that was in 2006. At the same time, I was so blessed with that 18-year tenure, 17-year tenure as a vice president, that I had met the best of the best in our industry, both in Illinois, Wisconsin, and multiple states, that I said, let me put a group together of luxury industry professionals that have open minds, that like helping other people, that are not always looking out for what's in it for me, and bring them together for education, networking, talking about projects that need help, collaborators, resources. And that was the birth of PowerHouse Smart. So in 2006, both the business side of consulting and recruiting and the really more trade association side of PowerHouse Smart were born, and they help each other, support each other with the synergies, and they both have continued to grow and evolve as I, as a human being, have evolved. So today, 2024, 18 years later, PowerHouse Smart, the membership community, is continued to grow beyond Illinois and Wisconsin to Naples, Florida, Minnesota, where you're from, where we were so fortunate to meet, Southern California. And then we do off-site events. We're doing our first African impact trip with the charity Matter. Yeah. I hope you come. I really want you to come. We'll see, right?
I don't think this time, but sometime in the future, yes. I'd love to join them, yes.
Okay. And then we are talking about potentially a future trip to Italy, where a lot of the products that a lot of our design build people use. So PowerHouse Smart has really grown, and the community has grown. And we don't necessarily care if everybody's a member, because membership is by invitation or referral. But it's really more about the events we have. And if you're not a member, you get a ticket. And the more new people we have come, the more the people that are members and non-members get to grow together. So that's the smart side, the PowerHouse Smart. And along with that became those conferences, those luxury conferences that supported that community to help fund the events that we have all year long. But really, it could be conferences, it could be summits, it could be the Impact Retreat trip, although that is a no profit at all to PowerHouse Smart. That's just for the charity. And a lot of our events are no profit. We try to at least not be in the red when we have events.
And the events are great. I mean, they're really lovely, and they're well planned, and they're a lot of fun. When Hannah and I came to Chicago, was it in March? We were trying to remember that.
The first event you went
to? No, just recently, just the last event.
Yeah, the last event was at Encore Gallery. Yes. And I'm trying to remember. We did it in May. Was it May? Because we're already in July. Yeah, it was already in May. Oh, and then we had an event at the Mart too.
It was the Mart, the conference. Yeah.
Oh, the luxury conference was in March.
That was super fun. I really, really enjoyed that. That was a great time.
Yeah.
Met lots of really fun people.
Yeah, so we will do an annual luxury conference. This will be the 9th year in 2025. This will be the 3rd year in Minnesota. We're talking about a date right now for 2025. And then we're doing our first annual in Naples, Florida in
which
February.
We're coming to as well.
I know, really you guys are continuing.
Tell me, is there anybody doing anything like you're doing right now? Like anywhere that you know of?
First of all, I want to say all the trade associations that are out there are extremely valuable. Yes. I am a member of NKBA and NARI, and I've been a member of Home Builders, and I think they're amazing organizations, and they all have their specialty or the value that they serve both the industry and the members and non-members. So I think, first of all, if you are not in any organization for networking and education, look into your local group. Yeah. Some cities, it's all based on the location, have stronger in each different groups, either several interior design groups, several architect groups, several builder groups. So you want to look to see which one has like-minded people that are in your exact niche. I would say I look to all of them and see what kind of events they're having, and then I try to fill in. And there's also even local events at the Merchandise Smart and IMS and River North Design District and West Edge Design Fair in Dallas and Santa Monica and KBIS. I look to see all the things that are happening in whatever location we're considering doing something, and I say, what isn't happening? Where can we fill a hole? And frankly, if everything is happening, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel, we're here to add value, not to. So that's why when we do an event in any city, we call it all those associations. Will you collaborate? No cost to you. Will you collaborate with us? Invite your folks. We'll help them get tickets at whatever we can do. We'll give you a free ticket as a board member. We'll help, give scholarships to your people. And most associations get it.
Awesome. How is it? How do you feel? So there's 2 different parts of PowerHouse. So there's the PowerHouse recruiting and then the PowerHouse Smart. So let's look at your recruiting. What value do you bring that's different? So like a unique value proposition. Why would someone say, I really want to work with Wendy over another like agency of some sort?
Sure. And there are not a lot, to be quite honest with you, of really boutique recruiting firms that are specialists in what we do, but there's a couple, and they also, have their own expertise in their niche. I think what makes us very different is very hands-on. So, I can't take on 10 new recruiting openings a month. So when I do select and pick and a lot of times there are members or people that I met through PowerHouse Smart, so that's already a connection. They know who I am. And I'm really, so if you said, Wendy, I want to hire a marketing director for your firm, I need more talent to support the growth. Then I would sit down with you, Leanne, as the owner, and I would find out very quickly. And that's the other thing. I am like I used to be on your side of the table, on their side of the table, running a business and day to day. And you just sometimes have a really hard time looking outside of your day to day activities and working.
Absolutely.
So I sit down with the owners and I'm like quickly assessing where they're at and what the role is. I help them with salary compensation guidelines. That would be great if we could find someone, probably unlikely, with the talents that you're looking for at that salary range in that location. Oh, you want them Monday through Friday to come to the office? Do you know that location is remote and you have to find someone who lives within a 30-mile radius? What you've just done is taken so those are the kinds of conversations, very custom kind of intake. And then from that, I have this whole database of people that I already have.
That's amazing.
That I can look through and figure out. And of course, I want to have the whole net. I don't want you to think it's only my people, but I want to look throughout the net. And then I sift through. And Leanne, I might bring you just one person for that time after I've vetted them, where you and I will have a 3-way Zoom interview with the candidate, 30 minutes, and you have not wasted any time. You've got the best candidate, and many, many times that's the person you actually go through the series of interviews that you hire. And now look at, saved your time, your money, and I've done all that, nonsense of, is this person really, accountable? Do they have, the personality? Do they have empathy? Are they adaptable? Those are the things, those soft skills, so important that a lot of people just don't, they don't have the time to dig in.
Wow. I didn't know all of that. Like I knew a little bit of what you, like the high level of what you did, but not necessarily like the details. So thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
It's similar to us. Like we do business growth consulting, and so we're not doing the vetting or the recruiting, but we're doing the hard conversations and the digging and the deep understanding, instead of when they say like this is the problem, it's like actually there's a problem way down here that we need to get to. So it sounds similar to that as far as like how you vet and stuff as well. So your ideal audience, like obviously a lot of these people are within PowerHouse Smart or in the industry. Is there any particular person or company that you really like to work with?
Yeah, so I'll talk more big picture. So PowerHouse, under that umbrella, really anybody who's in luxury design, interior design or architecture, construction, general contractor, or remodeler, or even somebody who only specializes in a certain part of construction, and then all of developers, of course, and then landscape architects, and then those big picture elements that need to be thought about in advance, like technology and smart homes, and then everything else that that those 4 key team members on a project, and a realtor, of course, are going to need each other to do that project. So anybody in that industry. So someone will say to me, well, we're a contractor and we do big box. I mean, certainly could I hire you a construction manager? Sure. But my area of expertise is a construction manager for a high rise or multifamily or single family or high-end single, personal touch luxury $1 million homes. That's really the audience I'm in contact with on a day-to-day basis. So anyone who's in that should go to a PowerHouse Smart event. Even if you are doing big box, but once in a blue moon you get a restaurant or a hotel, you should go, because you want to have those contacts in your database. But I would say if you were going to come to event after event after event and build these relationships, which is what PowerHouse Smart is all about, and continue to gain that education, then I would say you really want to be more on the luxury side of things. And then the same thing with recruiting. I mean, I like I said, I've had someone call me and they're a remodeling specialist in Wisconsin and they need a carpenter. But it's an employee position and it is a trim and rough carpenter. And so I help them, but is that my day-to-day? Probably not, but I had hired so many people for them in the past that I was able to do it. It took a little longer, hard role to fill.
Carpentry, that's an old job. Like, that's been around and it requires really attention to detail and some really crazy skills. I know a couple carpenters that would just they'll make a bench, and the detail on the sides of the bench are insane, and it's not what it would look like if I were to just hammer some nails into some wood. Tell me about what your goals are. Like, what is next year, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What does that look like for you?
Sure. And so, like a lot of my friends and colleagues in PowerHouse Smart, I've been fortunate and have had 2 great careers, 2 great journeys. And so now I'm kind of thinking about, well, what's next? Well, I can do the recruiting with like a duck to water. I mean, for me, I said to my immediate family the other day, I said, I could be a matchmaker, because that's exactly what recruiting is.
Yeah.
And they all laughed. And of course, my husband's like, no, we're not going down that path. But I can do recruiting from any city in the entire world at any time, because I have the database and I understand that. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing that unless I have to. The PowerHouse Smart side, I'm looking for what is the next 5 years going to be for PowerHouse Smart. It can grow national as long as it's always hitting its mission of helping others grow, not for us to become greedy and earn more money, but for us to share the wealth and help improve everyone's lifestyle and the industry. So I don't know what that looks like. Maybe someone wants to just take over all of PowerHouse Smart, and I'll consult on the conference side, because the events, like today's event that you came to, we're doing a hard hat tour on a property with Scott Byron and Company, famous landscape architecture firm for as long as I've lived in Illinois, a lot of years. And, they came to me and they said, we want to do an event. What kind of event can we do that would be so interesting to designers, builders, and architects? Oh my God, we got to see one of your projects, touch it and feel it and learn about the scope and the issues and what you learned from this, and how did the client feel when you had, a $20,000 change order that is, sewer and water connected. No one's ever going to see a beautiful flower on top of that. So those conversations, we're teaching everybody and we're touring. So I love putting together that 3-dimensional puzzle of an event that's creative and different. Who can we get to speak if it's not the own company? What team can we put together? How can we market it and get the right people to attend? And they don't have to be big. Today's maxed at 40, and we are sold out for a long time now. But how can we do that? Same thing with the conferences, same thing with the retreat in Africa, same thing if we do something in Italy. And so I would love to pass on, Leanne, so that somebody who's marketing driven and understands that it is a labor of love. You're not going to make a lot of money, but there is fun that being able to synergistically be vertically integrated and support your marketing arm. I get so many companies who call me and say, who's a good agency? And of course, you're one of the tops on my list, because we know each other and I've seen your work and it's been validated that you've helped other people. But so that's what PowerHouse Smart needs for the next generation.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that that's where you were thinking.
I know. Well, of course, we didn't.
No, we have not talked.
Purposely, on purpose.
Question about locations. So right now, PowerHouse Smart, tell me where it started.
So it started here on the North Shore in 2006. So we're in Illinois, we're in Wisconsin, especially southeast Wisconsin. And then we went to Minnesota. Thank you, Elizabeth Cohen from Studio M Interiors, the general manager of Studio M. She came to a Chicago conference and came up to me afterwards and said, can we take this to Minnesota?
Yeah.
And she helped us launch the first conference, and now we passed it on to some other local leaders. And then same thing happened in Naples, Florida. A lot of our industry professionals went to Naples. They still maybe have their feet in both ponds as far as business is concerned. They said, we need you in Naples. Even though Naples has a wonderful Collier Builders Association, IDS, it's just like we have great home builders and AIA, and Minnesota has First Housing Minnesota is tremendous, and ASID. But there's something different about what PowerHouse Smart brings, besides the fact that we don't just appeal to, if it's a builders association, builders and remodelers. We appeal to all the different people that any one project needs. And so it's like you can walk in the room and you might have a project on your desktop and you said, oh my God, you make custom benches? I have this project that has 6 custom benches. Awesome. It's a ski lodge, and I need a carpenter like you.
Yeah.
So that's what PowerHouse Smart brings. It's different, and if a city doesn't need that because they have someone who's doing that, great. We'll just do one event maybe if someone entices us to go there as a sponsor and wants to have a one event, and then we'll see where it takes off if it has legs.
Where would be if you could pick another city to do a conference, where would it be?
Oh, there's already been a bunch of asks. So for sure. So my really good friend, who's the founder of West Edge Design Fair, started West Edge Design Fair in Dallas. Mm-hmm. So that would be an easy. My son is moving currently today to Austin, Texas. My adult son and his significant other. They're moving to Austin, and I love Austin. I think Nashville is a great growth area. Of course, we're in Naples, Southwest Florida, but the other side of Naples, Florida, is a hot market. Certainly, there's Atlanta. New York City's no-brainer. My son lives in Manhattan. And I've already done stuff in New Jersey with the ASID in New Jersey. Colorado, for sure. We have members like Mark Benner, our architect, that's been a member of PowerHouse Smart since almost the very beginning, and my personal colleague and friend. He's in Colorado, as well as Nathan Kipnis and several other members of PowerHouse Smart are in different cities. So that makes sense. My cousin lives in Las Vegas, and that's a booming market. Summer, she's in Summerlin. There's some beautiful communities being built. It could be anywhere. Those cities, right?
You just do one a month and lots different.
Well, that's what this new generation of leadership is going to pull together.
I'll keep it in the back of my mind for sure. So I'm curious, we're going to kind of move into like marketing and what this discussion is about today is. I want to know what you feel like you do really well in marketing. What is working really well for you?
Yeah, well,
on either side.
Yeah, my expertise comes from the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're visionary.
Yeah, strategy. You know, where are we? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? Who's the target audience? And I'm also very good at what's the budget, and then how can we? Unfortunately, that's always the problem. Is once you hire a marketing agency like yourself. And I always had a marketing agency, even at Orem Pickel, but we also had a marketing director and we had a PR firm, is taking all those different pieces. And I have learned, at least the success strategy that has worked in my lifetime, is not just focusing on one of those segments, but always having a fishing line in all the different ponds. And it's expensive to do that. So you have to be really careful where you spend your money, and not to spend the money on a PR firm and an agency. I think is a disservice for any company who wants to grow, because if you don't have that branding consistency and you don't have that imaging that is beautiful and reflects what your true culture is, then you spend the money on marketing, if it's even email campaigns or whatever, and you're still not
conveying the message,
or you're not getting the impact that you could get.
So you feel like you're good at strategy. So like when there's an event, putting together the plans and executing the plans, getting the right people. You're also good at like recruiting for these events, like putting people in certain places to help make it a success. And is there anything you feel that you struggle with? What do you have a hard time with?
I mean, no one really, except for you, maybe in this room, realize how complicated marketing is and how much time it takes even to just create a great social media post or a calendar. A calendar is even bigger than a social media post. Just the post for the what is the message I want to deliver in this post? What's the call to action? And then what it is, all of that.
What's the objective of this post? Like first, like what is this post? Why am I posting this today?
Right.
What's the reason?
Right. And then how am I going to measure if it was successful?
So do you do your own social?
So what I do is I have So I have my assistant, and so we sit down and we for example, depends on what we're marketing. Are we just doing a general powerhouse recruiting? Then every whatever designated period of time, I happen to say weekly, every week, what am I doing to touch my audience of potential employers? Because that's my audience, because I'm a dedicated recruiter. I don't work on the contingency. If you want to hire me, you give me a deposit. I am recruiting. I'm your recruiter, just like a listing agent.
Sure.
As opposed to a lot of recruiters are, tell me what you're looking for. If I bring you someone, you pay me. To me, you're going to get me, baby. And so for that, I have to be compensated. So, so if I'm going to do my marketing for recruiting, then I'm more big picture. And then what is each post going to do, and what am I intending? So is it my intention, just like you said before, to get more people that are engaged in my emails, or is it to get people to call me, or is it to tell them about an event that's coming up that might intrigue them to be more connected to other people, whatever it is the goal. So that is more of a marketing calendar. And so every week we have a consistent platform that we use, in the sense that we want it to do X, Y, and Z, and we just filter it with new content every week. So that is done every week. I put it all together and I send it off to my great marketing guy, and he puts it together and sends it out. If it's PowerHouse Smart, it's great, because PowerHouse Smart, my God, even like this content here, or if you host an event in whatever city you want to, but Minnesota just happens to be your headquarters, then I can record that event, have a video and photo, and now we get all that social media, we get it on YouTube, and now that content that you've shared with people, let's say you're teaching about marketing in that particular event, now it's out there forever and ever. I can keep reusing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope you do. What platform do you feel like you have the most engagement with?
So right now, LinkedIn is really strong. We're also on Instagram, and we're working really hard at growing our Instagram platform with our videos. But I would say I've been on LinkedIn for a very long time. So back in 2006, I started a group called Luxury Home Builders Network.
I just joined it, I think.
I know you did. I have 16,000 members.
Holy moly.
And I approve every single person that gets included. So you apply. And what I'm doing is just weeding out the people that have one contact and have been in business for 6 months. I mean, those are not necessarily what I would consider experienced luxury industry professionals.
Yes.
But so that group, and I monitor the posts. And I use LinkedIn every day, even for just 5 or 10 minutes. And then I use it on the recruiter side, which is my premium account. So I'm on LinkedIn every day. I have my team on Instagram, and Instagram's connected to Facebook, and on YouTube every day because of all the content that we have. So that's pretty much social-wise what I use. I highly recommend for anyone in our industry that you're on LinkedIn.
I really think you do a good job at tagging people. Like when I look at your posts, I'm like, you're very thorough in that, and tagging people is super important, because when we elevate other people, that person like, that's like a pretty big real estate when you're posting, and when other people are seeing it and their name is in it, that's a pretty big compliment, that, to post someone else's stuff or to tag them. So what do you struggle with? Because what you just said sounds like you're not struggling at all with social. So what part of social are you struggling with?
Just to be consistent. It's hard to be consistent. Yes. I mean, you have to focus, and again, that's very left brain. I like the strategy and the creative, so I have to put people, my team that likes to do that, because again, not everyone's detail oriented, to really stay on top of it. So just staying on top of it. I think my biggest thing is I'm probably ready for a marketing director, whoever takes over and wants to take PowerHouse Smart and the luxury conferences to the next level, has a very good understanding, and as a marketing director can deal with all the day-to-day, because right now I'm a little flustered. Yeah. I'm in every place.
You're busy. Yeah. So when you and your assistant meet once a week?
Oh God, no. I have one virtual assistant that's just doing social media posts, but my other assistant is every day. So I probably have a Zoom meeting every Monday morning. We get scheduled, and then every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5 or 10 minutes. And again, we're when you get good people and you train them, they can read your mind after a certain period of time.
Yes.
So every day I talk to
about social media,
everything, all the marketing. So really all the marketing, if you think about it, is email marketing and social media, because I don't do any paid advertising, and video is part of that. And we do have a once a week social media video special just about video. And that's to help improve that Instagram and Facebook and YouTube aspect. But as far as LinkedIn and our email marketing, we send out an email campaign, because remember, we're across the United States, events at all different cities at all different times, and then there's recruiting every week. So I'm always in a different city, and I'm always looking, ASID just did a really cool event in Newport Beach, and we got this going on here, and Mark Benner's doing a really cool thing in this city, and he's just built 36 homes in 4 hours. And so I'm constantly using those posts that other people are posting, and is reminding me. And so it's like a 3-dimensional puzzle.
And I just want to tell the audience that Mark Benner is also standing behind the cameras as well, because we just did an episode with him this morning. So when we speak of Mark and laugh and I'm looking over there, it's because he's right there. When I think of social, like social can be super overwhelming. Obviously, we do social media for clients, but honestly, like I would say I wish we also didn't have it. Social media is one of those things where you feel like you have to do it because you want your presence to be there. It's a really great tool to connect with people for sure. But it's also just one of those things that you feel like you constantly have to keep up with. And then, algorithm garbage throughout all the platforms as well. Although I would say LinkedIn is actually the least problematic that way. Like it's so much easier. You can just be yourself, straight to the point. You're not fluffing anything. You're not putting AI pictures on. It's just like, except for Mark who does that for his houses. But for faces, where they're not filtered and they're not aesthetically pleasing necessarily. It's just like straight business talk, which I like. Yeah. So I want to talk about the social media because I hear that is a problem. And even when you talk about how often you discuss. So when we do a social media strategy, we first of all, we analyze the audience, right? So you know your audience really well. I would highly recommend starting with take half a day and start with this. I want you to write down the pain points that you know of your audience. So like interior designers, architects, commercial or contractors, and then also on the recruiting side, like depending on who let's focus on PowerHouse Smart today. Thinking of the problems that they might have. What are pain points? What are questions they might have? Write all of those down. And then in another column, I often do this in a spreadsheet. How can I show a solution to this question? And that could be like a lie that they believe about something. That could be a question that they might have about it. That might be something that they learned before. That might be a different way that you do it. That might be in a creative, like a video. It could be an aha moment or like a bold statement that says something. And that way you have let's say 6 different things just for that one question. And so I would do pain points as one of the pillars and then come up with different things. Foundational content is always it's never gonna get old. So who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it, who you do it for, and how you do it differently. And so you can also take who you are and write 10 posts about who you are. You could take what you do, write 10 posts about what you do, and just create a bunch of that content. And then think about what other pillars. Okay, well, let's think about the real estate industry. Find different pillars in the real estate industry. Finding the right, you can, in the recruiting side, finding the right person or tackling your process or all the different pillars inside of real estate. Do the same thing for all the industries that you want to work with. Because when you're posting and you're saying, are you having a hard time figuring out your process for your architectural firm? Well, that's if someone puts that into Google and you have a post that's talking about that, that's working for SEO and it's going to help you. So your video, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, is going to be helping that algorithm work in your favor. When you're using the keywords of the architect or the interior designer also, that will help those people find your posts and see them. And then you're also becoming the expert because you're helping solve their problems. Every person in any business has problems, and a lot of them most of the time. So how can we, if you are in a position to help someone, which you are, you're the expert in consulting that way, how can you be the expert on social? So creating pillars for your foundation, who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, who you do it for, and how you do it differently or better. The pain points, I would do a pillar for each of your ideal audiences. You'd have a pillar for events. You'd have a pillar for maybe other people and what they're doing. And then your assistant would, the ones that are different, like events and what other people are doing, are a little bit more flexible, right? Because she'd be wanting, or whomever would be watching social and be like, okay, I'm gonna follow these 40 accounts. I'm gonna check them once a week and see if they posted anything so that I can repost it. But the other ones really are the meat and potatoes of who you are. Right. And so that stuff can be, so we create auto lists through our posting platform so that they can just continue. Because just because you posted it once 4 months ago does not mean that the people that you wanted to see it will see it. And then the other thing we do is if a post does really well, so let's say with your foundation and you're talking about who you are, and there's often a picture of you working with someone and will help with the creative. So even that, then people are like, wow, I really like that. They like it. Well, now you take that same post and just put a different creative to it. or just rewrite it slightly, or ask a different question to get that post doing even better. And we call that optimization. So a lot of, and I'm not putting a plug in here, but a lot of companies, when they're doing social media, they're just writing posts and they're putting them out there. And that's good, a starting point, but you want to be optimizing your content for your audience. So really analyzing your audience is what it's actually going to make your social media better, because that's who is looking at your content. And then all of those posts that you just created, maybe 100 of them are on auto list, so they're just going to keep going out and just keep shuffling. And then when you feel like it and you're at an event and your sweet little face gets on your lives or a video, you can do that all the day long whenever you want.
Right.
Because you know you have content going out.
Yeah.
So that's a really, like, especially too, then you can watch what's working and what's not working. And then you can also look at what other people are doing. Like, hey, I'm going to follow this interior design account. Wow, I love how they showed this. I'm going to do something similar for our event. Or and trying to optimize the way that you provide the content on your social.
I love that. I think that's great. I think that is a great concept. It's kind of like having your own library and repurposing it with customization to what's hot and new and knowledge and a slant for today.
And you can also turn that content into your newsletter. So if you see a post did really well in your social, you could turn it around and make it a blog post. You could turn it into an ad. You could turn it into a small email, and then it just has to be filled out a little bit. But it's a great way to test things. So even depending on one of our clients, like, we will test content on certain platforms, and if it does well, then we will optimize it for LinkedIn, let's say, where our ideal audience is really hanging out. We'll test it with colder traffic on a different platform, because when you're posting stuff that doesn't really work on a platform you're really wanting it to work, you're not showing up very well. And so people will be like, oh, I don't really want to follow this person anymore. So to test it, one of my mantras is test small, launch big. So you test it on smaller audiences or in small groups, or even in an email. Maybe it's in an email and it works really well. So you're like, hey, this email worked amazing. I need to get this on social media. Right. So you can kind of go between them. But I think that would be helpful, and it would also help you with your time, because thinking about social media every day sucks. And so to be able to sit down and just write a bunch of content for your person to just do whenever, and then you have the freedom to pop on whenever you want, and then write from your heart at that time, because it'll just be in the moment.
No, I love that. It's a great idea, especially since most people should, unless this is their full-time, the marketing is their full-time job, they should have this set up so that they can apply it, set it up in the beginning of the week, and just check it. Hey, this was, so I know what's going out this week, but I'm not on it. I'm not.
Especially, I don't remember exactly what the event was, but like a year ago, there was an event that happened in Minnesota. I think it was the George Floyd shooting. And some of the posts that one of our clients had scheduled was not appropriate for that week. And so you have to be very mindful of okay, we scheduled this 3 months ago, but just kind of knowing what's going to go out too.
Exactly.
What's your favorite way? You show up really well on video. You're always very joyful and sweet, and you can tell that you just love what you do. And what gives you that desire to just go on quick and post? Is it an event that you're at, or just a thought you have, or?
No, I do think about what I'm going to talk about. So I'll say, okay, this week I want to do a video. And so I think about, okay, well, what do I want to talk about? My favorite is success stories. I love hearing from all the emails I get. Oh, I met this person through this one, and and thank you for this connection or whatever. So awesome. I like doing shout outs. That's my favorite. I keep saying to everybody, please send me your shout outs so that I keep getting that content, even though I get some. I don't want to keep using the same people over and over as much as I love them. Everyone thinks that
so what about
me? Exactly. So, and I also like talking about events, and I also, new things that are going on. I mean, someone says, hey, I'm about to embark on a new showcase home, or I just got named in, remodeler, Architectural Digest as one of the top 30 to look out for. Really cool stuff. I love giving shout outs to people. I'm all about the relationships. That's,
you and I are very similar that way. I feel that vibe from you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you truly care. Sometimes you meet people and they're genuine, but it's kind of okay, and they move on. But I feel like you're just constant, you're stable, and I don't know if stable's not right. You're constant. You're constantly curious about other people, and it shows how much you care about
people.
Well,
thank you. And I'm so glad that we are kindred spirits like that. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want the world to know about you or your business or PowerHouse Smart or?
Yeah, I'm just like the rest of us. I mean, we're all trying to be the best, have the best lives, be able to make the biggest impact, be able to, wake up every morning and just be living with an attitude of gratitude. And that's what I talk about all the time. And it's not always easy. There are, good days and bad days. Things happen. People get sick. You lose loved ones. All of us have that. But, I really am at that point in my life where I'm reflecting and saying, how can I share with people that, this too shall pass kind of passage where we used to get so upset about the little things, and just remember, how you treat others is a reflection of, your compassion and your love. And if this world, if all the human beings in this earth would remember that we're all connected, we're all one, and that we're all here for the same purpose, which is love, we would have such a better lifetime in this lifetime. So I'm going back to my roots of understanding, my purpose and why am I here and what can I do. And, when I had little kids, I didn't have much time to think about that. I had to make sure I picked up my kids from day school.
Kept them safe.
Yeah, right.
Kept them alive.
I'm back at that stage again where I was before I had kids. And so I'm going through that, and we all go through our life journeys, and I'm here for anybody who wants to share that with me. And I'm trying to, without getting too personal, I'm trying to tie it in with my business impact. I feel like PowerHouse Smart has made a big impact on the lives of so many people, but it's mostly been about relationships and treating other people with integrity and honesty. And how can we tie that into, that's just not about business. It's about everything that you do. It's about your life on this earth. And so that's my big push in the next 10, 15, 20 years, is to try to share that message. So my last gratitude email on LinkedIn for the 18-year anniversary, I ended it with Namaste. And so my daughter happened to be flying into LA she was shooting a commercial for her company. She's a brand for a candy company, a brand manager. And I said, did you see my LinkedIn post? And it's only a minute because that's all you have, right? I showed her and I ended it with Namaste. She goes, Mom, you can't do that in a business video. And I'm like, you can't? Well, I did, and it's out there now. And she says, that's a little, airy fairy kind of stuff. And I said, that's how I feel. And so I guess I'm going to end this with you to say that if I could just sprinkle a little fairy dust in everyone's hair, so that tomorrow or today or after this interview, you wake up and you go, yeah, there's more to this in this life than that dollar I might earn or how much money's in my bank account. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Someone would want to get a hold of you either because they're interested in PowerHouse Smart or recruiting, how would they get a hold of you?
So our Powerhouse Companies brochure, which has everybody under the umbrella, is powerhouse-co, as in companies.com. And then from that, you can get directly into PowerHouse Smart. You can see our events on the calendar, directly into recruiting, and directly into luxury conferences. And I am not the kind of person that makes it hard to find me. You can easily contact me, email me, or I'm available.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much, Wendy. Thanks for your time.
You're the best, and I hope this whole platform that you're doing is amazing, and more people should be taking the time out of their day to really talk to their clients. In my case, you are one of my resources, one of my service providers. You do all my graphics for the luxury conferences. You're my in-kind sponsor. As soon as you met PowerHouse Smart, you immediately jumped on our nonprofit bandwagon with Matter, and you offered them a free website.
We're working with them still. Do you know Simba? Have you ever heard of Simba? He does a bakery in Zimbabwe. So we were working with a different a boxing gym that ended up falling through. So now we're working for a bakery. But love the people over at at Matter as well.
It's great. It's
great.
So,
and I met them that was the first time I met them was through a PowerHouse Smart event. So
I know. And at the first event that you went to, you joined.
Yeah.
And you immediately said, Wendy, how can I donate some of my marketing services to Matter? And I'm like, oh my God, I love this woman. I have to hug her and kiss her. And from that, you got a client, a couple clients out of it. And I hope you're going to get more clients, because for me, I want to talk about your success stories on my next video.
Sweet. Okay. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks. Love you. Oh, okay. Great.